One of the most active stocks yesterday was Jet Airways. It was down intraday about 20%. This dip came in after the National Stock Exchange removed the script from a rolling to trade segment. Now the chances are that the exchanges could impose more restrictions in the coming days as well. But the question is, yes, we all know what could have prompted the exchange to take such an action. The question larger is, were the exchanges a bit too late? And now that the action has been taken, what are the implications on the stock? Sajeet Manghat's here with some of those answers. Sajeet, you understand this very well. I think we were debating this yesterday as well. Were the exchanges a bit too late? And even if they were, what happens next?
So, the exchanges are relying on information to come out with any action on any company. And in the last few weeks, what they have found is that they reported repeated queries company hasn't come forth with any of the answers or information with respect to those queries. So that's the reason why the exchanges have decided to push the stock from rolling settlement to T2T and also close out all futures and options contract on June 28, which is the last day of the June contract. Post that, any outstanding contracts will not be there, so contracts for July or August all will have to be closed out on June 28, and from June 29th onwards it will be on a trade-to-trade basis. Basically, you cannot do netting of your trades. It's basically on gross deliveries which you have to do. That's the reason why why this action has been taken. But in doing so, the exchange was also very clear that information is not there. Plus the fact that the price which has been reflecting may not be the right price on the stock, on the exchange.
Well, the exchanges are not alone in thinking like this, but in which ways,
yeah. Because they're saying that, since the company is not operational and there is issue with respect to management, then the price may not be the right price which is getting reflected, and small and retail investors may get stuck in this stock going forward. And that's one of the reasons why they have taken this surveillance measure, which T2T movement is a surveillance measure, and going forward it's going to be much more stringent.
Okay, so Sajeet, my question is this. I mean, I know we can't give a direct answer, but I don't know if you got a chance to speak to somebody or in some way your conversations or your thought process resulted this. A lot of people ask these questions to us, right? What happens next to the Jet Airways stock now that there was a reaction on the basis of the measures taken by the exchange, which was to the tune of 17–18%. What could happen next?
So, of course, the stock will be under pressure because any positions will be unwound. But as we said in a copy or on a copy which is available on website, the stock is headed towards suspension. That reason primarily being that it's not following the listing obligation and disclosure requirements regulation of SEBI. Every company is supposed to sign that with the stock exchanges, which require it to provide information on a timely basis to the shareholders and to the investors. Right. And this is done through a disclosure through the stock exchanges. For the quarter ended March 31st and annual results, the results are still not out. There's already a notification or disclosure by the company saying that many of its key board members and key managerial personnel have resigned.
Yes.
And so there is no one to sign the audited balance sheet. The auditors have also come out and clarified, saying that there is no management to sign the audited balance sheet, so we cannot go ahead with it. And so there is a violation. First strike comes in there because the last quarter results haven't come in. Regulations very clearly says that in case you are delaying, you pay daily fine up from 1,000 to 5,000 rupees. But it's very clear that if you violate this regulation for 2 consecutive quarters, then your chances of getting into suspensions are very high. That's because as soon as 2 quarters of default happens, the exchanges give 7-day notice to shift the stock to a Z category for non-compliance of regulations. Once it goes into a Z category with T2T, it becomes much more tougher for people because there are additional surveillance measures comes in and others. Post that, there is a 21 days notice which exchange gives to all the shareholders and other exchanges where the stock is listed, saying that this stock is going for suspension in 21 days.
So in your wisdom, you foresee all of these happening step by step?
Yes, it's a step-by-step process.
It will happen.
It will happen.
In all likelihood.
If Jet doesn't get the management and the board in place.
Okay, so I think that remains that big monitorable.
That's
the only monitorable.
Yeah, because the other thing is that even if a new management comes in, on what basis are they going to sign the balance sheet?
Sure, I get your point.
The thing is that they can't take responsibility for the past balance sheet, right? So someone has to take a call, approve it. Okay. And no new management will take liabilities of past management by signing a balance sheet for a year ended March
2019.
2019.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Sajeet, thanks so much for putting that into perspective. And as Sajeet said, a story around this is there on the website. So if you really want to know what next for the Jet Airways stock, maybe this could give you some answers or some insight. Do log in and try and read that.